Gary Wright, an iconic American singer and songwriter that is famously known for his hit songs Dreamweaver and Love Is Alive, has died, according to reports.
Interest came actually when I was like 12 years old. I was in a Broadway show called Fanny, and I actually sang with Florence Henderson. She played my mother, and I was in the show for like 2 years, and we were on the Ed Sullivan Show together, and so I kind of got the bug back then, you know, when you sing every night before a full orchestra, and you know, you have that kind of vibe going and that contact with the audience, it never leaves you, and even though I wanted to, I decided that music was too unstable of a livelihood to have. I said, I'm going to do something really, you know, definite and sure, and be a doctor. And so I went on and went to college and went to a year of medical school, and then hated that, and then went off and started to play music, because I'd always played in bands when I was in high school and college. And so I put a band together in Europe, and we toured around, and I wound up in England and got into my first real professional band on a major labels, which was Island Records, and the band was Spooky Tooth. The mentors that I had in those early days would have been singers like Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin and Bobby Blue Bland and James Brown. I loved R&B, early R&B. I used to listen to it all the time. So I kind of grew up on early rhythm and blues, and also, you know, the early rock stuff too, like the Jerry Lee Lewis's and the Elvises and of course the Beatles. I think art is a very, very important part of education, because it's a big part of life. If you take art out of life, you take the passion out of life, and I think it's vitally important for children.
We're talking with Gary Wright. He joins us on the phone today. Gary, welcome to the people of the Chippewa Valley over the phone.
Thank you.
And your book is you're promoting the book. You're promoting aspects of your career, and we're going to delve into that a little bit. First off, first question: have you been to Western Wisconsin before? Have you ever been to the Eau Claire area by chance?
I don't think I have. No, I mean, I've been to, like, you know, obviously Milwaukee and places like that, but I've never been to Western Wisconsin.
Up a little bit east of the Twin Cities.
Right. Okay.
And we're actually really close. We're about 90 minutes east of Minneapolis is usually how I like to put it. We talk in terms of how many minutes we're away as opposed to miles, but it's a beautiful place. You're really going to like it up here when you come on by later on this month.
I bet I will. I hear it's wonderful. I think I drove into a little bit of Wisconsin when I made a trip once to Iron Mountain, Michigan, to visit a friend of mine. And I remember driving through parts of Wisconsin. We came in from Chicago, but it was very beautiful. I know that.
And you probably
is it the land of many cheeses, or is it the land of bars and lakes? I can't.
Well, here's the thing. Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, and we're known for our cheese. But Wisconsin actually has more lakes than Minnesota. So you really get them both when you go through this state.
Yeah.
You're going to find it really beautiful here. So yeah, definitely enjoy when you come by. Your particular show, as I understand, and fill in the details on this. I believe you have an accompanist, a pianist with you. I believe. Are you also playing keyboard, playing synthesizer? Or are you just singing? And then, of course, with their stories as well. Kind of describe the show.
Well, the show is actually. I do about half of the songs just with my keyboard player and my piano player. The other half I do to tracks, backing tracks that I created in my studio. And then there's 2 readings that I do throughout the show for my new book. And there's a slideshow which has rare, never before seen photos of myself, some with George Harrison and Ringo, and just some cool shots that I think people would like to see.
This book, you mentioned George Harrison in the title of the book, and it seems an appropriate time for this to be coming out with the recent release of the Apple Years box set of George Harrison's first solo albums, and of course you were part of some of that work as well. Describe, and maybe this is part of what's in the book. How did you get to work with George Harrison? I believe maybe Klaus Voormann had part of this to do, but how did this all happen?
Yeah, it happened through Klaus, because Klaus and George were very close, and I was producing at the time. That's after I left the band I was in, Spooky Tooth, and I was working with producer Jimmy Miller, who would produce Traffic, Spooky Tooth, and just got the job doing the Stones. I was in the studio producing an artist for one of his projects he was working on, and I got a phone call from Klaus saying, I'm in the studio with George Harrison, and he's doing his new album. Phil Spector is producing. They need an extra keyboard player. Can you come right away? And I said, of course, I'll do that. And I jumped in my car and drove over and was blown away when I walked into the studio. There was Ringo and Eric Clapton and Billy Preston and a whole bunch of great musicians. I felt in awe.
And how many tracks in the album? And I suppose I could just take a look at the liner notes and probably get the answer right there. But for anyone curious, any particular parts on any of the tracks in that album that really stand out as one of your keyboard parts?
I played on the entire album. I played keyboards.
Nice.
And on all his future albums, I played on every one of his albums. I think with the exception of Gone Tropo.
The one from '82, but yeah, in fact, I saw you had elements going even into the late '80s, getting up to Cloud 9 and some of those works. What? Tell me from the time you worked with George Harrison, are there any particular stories? And again, maybe this is stuff in the book, so maybe you just say read the book and find out. But are there any, shall we say, unique stories or things that people wouldn't have suspected of your time working with George Harrison?
Well, George had a great sense of humor. And I remember this one time we went out to go to this sushi bar that he quite often liked to visit. And we had a great meal, and we were in the parking lot going to our car. And he pointed to this blue, old, really beat-up pickup truck with these old smashed-in doors. And he looked at me and said, "Do you want to go with me, or should you want to take your car?"
Very nice.
It's hilarious.
He had a unique sense of humor.
Gary's son, Justin, said that his father had been suffering for the past 6 years with Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia. We are so grateful with Gary's legacy and contribution towards the music industry, and his legacy shall forever live on. We are so grateful for his hits, and we send our sincere condolences to his family and loved ones. Details concerning funeral arrangements are yet to be revealed, and Touch News Media will keep you posted. I hope you have learned a lot from this video, and let us know what you remember from Gary. Send your condolence messages in the comment section, and remember to keep them respectful. Our thoughts goes out to his family and loved ones, and may his soul rest in eternity. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bells so that you don't miss out on any videos that we upload. I love you guys, and stay safe. Bye bye.